Hey guys, Tom Muller here from ForexReviews.info and welcome to this week's edition of the weekly Forex Allocan Review. I hope you're all doing well and that you had a great trading week last week. Okay, the first pair I'd like to highlight this week in the review is EURUSD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now on this market this week, what I'd like to highlight is where the market's just done to retest, which is the 118.87 zone area. This is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see that right to bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to this previous low area, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 115.50 zone to the downside. Now the 115.50 zone area is a potential pullback area that I've been mentioning in a lot of the recent reviews on this market. And if the market does happen to test this area this week, this is still an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move the upside from this area. So overall in EURUSD this week, holding that where the market's testing right now is a great area on this market to look for bearish evidence and a potential move the downside from this important area. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is GBPUSD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now on this market this week, what I'd like to highlight is a management point area and target area to the upside for all those people who are holding a buy position on this market. Last week in the review, I highlighted the 128.16 zone area as a potential bullish evidence area. And as you can see, the market moved all the way up to nearly testing that management point area, looking left. So what I'd like to highlight is that this previous high area is a great area to take off partial profits for all those people that are holding a buy position on this market. How potentially this market may continue all the way up to the 129.60 zone area. So the 129.60 zone area is a great target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy position on this market. And also the 129.60 zone area is a great area to the upside where I'm just looking for bearish evidence. And if I see that right to bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to these previous highs, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 128.16 zone area to the downside. So overall in GBPUSD this week, holding this market gave a nice move to the upside from the 128.16 zone area, which was a potential bullish evidence area on this market, and holding that previous high area looking left as a potential management point area to the upside and a long-term target area. And also holding the 129.60 zone area as not only a potential target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy position, but also an area to the upside where I'm just looking for bearish evidence and a potential move to the downside from this important area. Potentially all the way back down to the 128.16 zone area to the downside. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is AUDUSD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now much the same on AUDUSD as I highlighted last week in the review, and that is the 80.50 zone area as long-term target area to the upside for all those people that are holding a buy position on this market. At the moment, the market is retesting this management point high area, looking left, so just be aware of that for all those people that are holding a buy position on this market. However, if the market breaks above this area, I'd expect this market will continue all the way potentially up to the 80.50 zone area. This is a great target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy position on this market. And it's also an area to the upside that if the market tests this area this week, then I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see that right to bearish evidence in this area, like I got in the training, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to these previous highs, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside and this low, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to these previous lows as another management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 78.23 zone to the downside. So overall in AUDUSD this week, holding a target area to the upside for all those people holding a buy position on this market, and also an area to the upside where we're just looking for bearish evidence and a potential move to the downside from this important area. Now, of course, if the market does happen to pull back again and come back and retest the 78.23 zone area, once again, this is once again an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence. And if you see that right to bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to these previous lows, all these highs as a potential management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 80.50 zone to the upside. Okay, well that's for AUDUSD. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is New Zealand USD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now last week in price action, this market pulled back again to retest the 72.30 zone area. This is a potential bullish evidence area on this market and is an area that acted as really strong support on the previous test of this important area. So what I'd like to hold on this market this week is that on pullbacks into this area, that this is an area on this market where we're just looking for a bullish opportunity on this market and a potential move to the upside, potentially looking for a move all the way up to this previous low, looking left as a potential management point area to the upside, or these highs as another management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 73-75 zone area to the upside. Okay, well that's for New Zealand USD. Overall, high that where the market's testing right now is an area on this market where we're just looking for a bullish opportunity on this market and a potential move to the upside from this important zone. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I like to highlight is US CAD, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now, this market just recently tested the long-term target area that I mentioned last week in the review for all those people who are holding a sell position on this market, which was the 124.89 zone area. This was mentioned last week in the review that for all those people who are holding a sell position on this market from the 127.64 zone area, that this was a potential long-term target area to the downside on this market. So overall, a great performer was US CAD. Now, what I'd like to hold on this market this week is that where the market's testing right now, that this is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bullish evidence. And if I see that lots of bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this previous high or low, looking left as a potential management point area to the upside, or these previous lows as another management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 127.64 zone to the upside. So overall in US CAD this week, holding that this market hit the long-term target area to the downside for all those people holding a sell position on this market that I mentioned last week in the review, which is the 124.89 zone area, and also holding the 124.89 zone area as an area on this market when we're just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is US Swiss, and I'm on the 4-hour chart. Now on this market this week, we'd like to highlight is the 95.19 zone area as an area to the downside, where I'm just looking for bullish evidence in this area. And if I see that lots of bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to these previous lows, looking left as a potential management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 97 zone to the upside. So overall in US Swiss, holding the 95.19 zone area as an area to the downside in this market, where I'm just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is GP New Zealand, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, on this market this week, we'd like to highlight is the 178.15 zone area, where the market's just starting to test. This is an area on this market where I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area. And if I see that lots of bearish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way down to these previous lows, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 174 zone area to the downside, which is those previous lows looking left on this market. So overall in GP New Zealand, holding that where the market's just under test, that this is a great area on this market to look for bearish evidence and a potential move to the downside from this important area. Okay, well that's that market. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is GP CAD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now last week in price action, this market came very close to testing the 159.40 zone area, which was highlighted as a potential long-term target area to the downside for all those people holding a sell position on this market in last week's review. And what I'd like to hold on this market this week is much the same as what I held last week in the review, is that the 159.40 zone area is a great target area to the downside for all those people holding a sell position on this market. And it's also an area to the downside where I'm just looking for bullish evidence. And if I see that lots of bullish evidence in this area, then potentially looking for a move all the way up to this previous low area looking left, or this low area as a potential management point area to the upside, or potentially looking for a move all the way up to the 166 zone to the upside. So overall on GP CAD, holding the 159.40 zone area as a great target area to the downside for all these people that are still holding a sell position on this market, and also an area to the downside where we're just looking for bullish evidence and a potential move to the upside from this important area. Okay, the next pair I'd like to highlight is EUR/AD, and I'm on the daily chart. Now, on this market this week, we'd like to highlight is the 150.63 zone area, where the market's getting close to testing. This is a great area that if the market tests this area this week, then I'm just looking for bearish evidence in this area, And if I see that right to bearish evidence in this area, like I go in the training, then potentially be looking for a move all the way down to this previous low area, looking left as a potential management point area to the downside, or potentially looking for a move all the way down to the 147.20 zone to the downside. So overall on Euro AUD on the 150.63 zone area as an area to the upside, we're just looking for bearish evidence and a potential move to the downside from this important area. Okay, well that's it for me for this review this week. Thanks for watching and I appreciate you all. And if you did appreciate this video this week, please don't forget to click that like button to show your support for the website and channel. Let's see if we can get over 600 likes on this video this week. And also if you have any comments on this week's edition of the review, feel free to comment below. And also consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. And also if you haven't checked out the Forex training at the site, such as the Engulfing Trader, the 5-day training series or the Candlestick training series just yet, we can find out all about this Forex training by clicking on the links below this video. Okay, well I hope you all have a great trading week and happy trading.